Hello, my friends, and welcome to another wonderful edition of Shakespeare's Coffee Break, the daily coffee break where your friendly neighborhood Shakespeare, that's me, brings on his friends, his familiars, his people that he looks up to, sometimes people he looks down on. I don't know. I'm going to have a talk with that Shakespeare guy. That's me. But we also enjoy some really good coffee. Let's have a nice noisy slurp right now. Yeah, that's some good internet audio. But friends, welcome. I do hope that you are enjoying the show. Send us in your comments. And if you're watching directly on the Shakespeare's Coffee Break Facebook channel, I can bring them up on screen, but I'm looking at all the different pages and everything, so I can bring your comments into the show. How have you been today? Having a good day? Getting everything done that you need to? Are you back at work? Or are you working from home? Or enjoying the Quarantina-palooza? I don't know, but it's a fantastic day. It's a beautiful day, and we are all here together. And thanks for being here with me. But friends, I have to, before I bring in this guest, thank some very wonderful people, specifically Barking Dogs brought to you by the Zenith Players. You can find them at zenithplayers.com and facebook.com/Zenith Players. The Zenith Players co-broadcast Shakespeare's Coffee Break and the various other things I do, such as my event shows, such as the upcoming Midsummer Night's Dream, A Gay Old Time, which will be on June 3rd. That is next Wednesday, and you can go to right here on my Facebook page to find out more information about that, contribute to the Indiegogo, and all that information is also in the show links. But let's find out where the barking dog is barking from. Because, friends, lords, ladies, gentles all, we need to bring in our guest from the Zenith Players, Sherlock Holmes or Mr. T.J. Reissner. I don't know. Hello, hooray!
Hello.
Yes. Are you Mr. Holmes or are you Mr. Reissner right now?
Who should I be?
Well, allow me to sound like James Lipton. I would like to now speak with Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Well, all right then. You've got Sherlock Holmes here.
Mr. Holmes, how does it feel to genuinely feel like the smartest person in the room 90% of the time?
Well, as Sherlock Holmes, it's just an ordinary day. How does it feel to be a spider amongst flies? How does it feel to be a polar bear amongst seals? One simply does what one does.
Oh, well put. And I have to ask,
to be a Shakespeare Elizabethan writers.
Well, it is generally pretty good, but there's also a Christopher Marlowe around trying to knock you down a peg. But you have a Mycroft, Holmes, so there is that. You understand the struggle and the pain. It's nice to talk to another genius. It really is.
One seldom gets the opportunity.
Oh, very good. Well, so Mr. Holmes, I needs must ask you, and this is a serious question because I grew up in an era of time that was called Just Say No. And so I see you have your pipe there. Is it filled with tobacco or is it filled with opium, good sir?
Well, sir, let us just say it is filled with the stuff that keeps me going.
Oh, very good. And in that case, for me, it is bubbles. Yeah, right. Well, now, so T.J. Reissner, who is the man behind Sherlock Holmes, you are one of the founders of the Zenith Players, and you can be found online at zenithplayers.com, and also, of course, as I was saying earlier, facebook.com/Zenith Players. We have, I'd like to think, become reasonably good friends, not just acquaintances, these last several months of Quarantina-palooza. The Corona apocalypse.
Yes.
The stay-at-home situation. I don't know, but how did Zenith Players begin? Because your wife Claire is the artistic director. Yes.
Yes, she's the artistic director. I am the technical director. I am technically a director. Essentially she has all these great artistic ideas, and I find a way to make them happen.
That's usually how technical direction works.
Yes, in a nutshell, that's what we do. We many many years ago. But technically speaking, our first production was sort of Death of a Salesman. That's when we started working together in this directorial capacity. It was not Zenith's first show, but to me, as far as the history of Zenith goes, is kind of the beginning of it. It went very well. It was very well received, and we kind of decided, you know what, let's go for it. Let's do it. And, our first actual production was The Woman in Black.
Ooh.
Several years ago.
Ah, yes. Now, The Woman in Black, what is... that sounds quite fascinating and titillating. What is that show about?
That is... so there was a Daniel Radcliffe movie, The Woman in Black. So the movie was based on this play, which was based on a book by Stephen Malatrat. Essentially... the play follows a man who has had this experience with a sort of haunted house, and he's gone to a theater and has found an actor with the intent of the actor telling him kind of how to tell a story and how to tell the story of what he experienced. So so we kind of go back and forth between we're at the theater and he's kind of teaching him how to be an actor, and then we go back to the house where all these strange things kind of happened. And there's a very it's not necessarily like a jump scare you kind of show, but more of a psychological
very nice,
what's real and what's not.
Wonderful. And that leads me into asking you about the next topic of conversation, the Baskervilles Project. Now, the Baskervilles Project, and let me see if I can share the screen here so I can bring up the proper poster. Let us hope. Oh, nope, wrong poster. All right. Let's do the other one. That's the other thing I'll bring up in a minute. The Baskervilles Project, which you're doing of presenting, there we go, the stories of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes doing The Hound of the Baskervilles, and you are presenting it in serial order, much like it was originally written, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Originally, it was published, I think, in magazines, one chapter at a time. We live in a world where they kind of like a little bit more instant gratification, so we're doing it two, and in the case of this Monday, we did it 3 chapters at a time. Just so that we don't, go on until December. So we've got 2 more weeks of that.
It's 2 more weeks. I thought it was the final chapter coming up. All right.
Next, this coming Monday, you'll be joining us.
I am, yes.
Jack Stapleton, and then the following week is the wrap up.
Oh, very good. Yes.
We started that. We had adapted A Scandal in Bohemia years ago to perform with 3 actors, the wonderful Noah Stancione playing Dr. Watson, and all of the other characters except for Sherlock and Irene Adler. And that originally it was going to happen in a restaurant, and it never ended up happening, but we kind of saw the opportunity during Quarantina-palooza to you know what, let's just have a reading of it. Let's see how that goes. And we enjoyed it. We got, again, the wonderful Noah read for us, and we got Marie Nicole, an excellent actress.
She is delightful. She was in my Midsummer. Not yes. Midsummer, my Romeo and Juliet, as Mercutio Bro.
Mercutio Bro, yes. And she, as delightful as she is in everything else, she was delightful in that as well. So we got the 2 of them, and we read it, and it was a lot of fun. So we said, what can we do next? Let's do another Sherlock. The only reason I'm playing Sherlock is because I was playing Sherlock in that version, and the only reason I was playing Sherlock in that version was so that we didn't have to pay an actor.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, totally. It's one of the benefits and also downgrades of having your own theater company. I'm discovering.
Yes, you do a lot of things yourself so that you can save a little money.
Oh, and then sometimes it's just like, well, no one's going to do as good as me. It's like I have it in my head. It's like the character sounds this way. in my head. So that is how it's going to happen. And then someone else comes out and does it. You're like, please don't be better than in my head. Please don't be better than in my head.
Exactly. So yeah, we decided, you know what, let's do Hound of the Baskervilles. It's one of the most famous stories written in the English language, so let's do that one.
It's one middle schoolers tend to learn, along with Case of the Speckled Band.
Yes. And I discovered that it was in fact a novel and that it would be very long to do in one reading. So we kind of decided, let's chop it up into bits, and turns out that's how it was originally released.
Wonderful, wonderful. And oh my goodness. Going back in, I'm just looking at some comments that are all over the place. This is one I cannot bring up on screen because it is one of the channels going through Restream for me, which you and I share on that. So thank you very much for that, for constantly being a resource to me as well. But going back to the comment when Holmes and Shakespeare were talking to each other on how does it feel to be Shakespeare amongst other Elizabethan writers, and I said, Marlowe's always trying to knock you down. My friend Susan Hill, also friend of the show, says, #FU Marlowe. So that is a thing that was said. But that is just delightful and wonderful. Now, for the Zenith Players, do you plan on doing, other than a project you and I had spoken of doing at some point in future, do you plan on doing anything else with Mr. Sherlock Holmes?
Possibly. There's nothing concrete yet, other than the one we're working on. But you know, if someone out there wants to see more Sherlock Holmes and says, "Hey, do this one," we'll certainly take a look at it. What else are we gonna do?
That's a very good thing. We should do full middle schools and shop it around to them, because they all do it. Case of the Speckled Band. Just dramatize it fully.
I'll have to take a look at that one.
Yeah. I'm just announcing it right here. You know what? Middle schoolers, here we go. I'm putting my tangent clock up here. Here we go. All right. Middle schoolers, this is Shakespeare talking to you. Hey, how's it going? We're gonna bring out Case of the Speckled Band for you, because you all have to read it in 7th grade anyway. Yep, usually how it goes. So I had to, and you probably had to. So we're gonna do Case of the Speckled Band, and we're gonna talk to your teachers, get your teachers to talk to us, because I know this crowd is full of middle schoolers watching right now.
Almost certainly.
And or maybe your parents. Maybe your parents. I don't know. And come up and demand it, and we will bring you the Case of the Speckled Band as a project to watch for either a live stream, or we record it live, obviously, and then send it to you. So that's going to be a thing. All right. That probably went longer than a minute, but I don't care. It's my show. All right. And you're doing lots of other readings and stuff, and we're going to be talking about that in just a minute here, because first we've got to go and pay some bills. So stick around. TJ Reissner of the Zenith Players and the Baskervilles Project, which we're going to be talking a bit more in a few moments. But friends, just so you know, because I did say we have to pay some bills, we have to show some love to Hill Storage and Rigging Company. Hill Storage and Rigging Company in Middletown, Pennsylvania. No job too large or too small. Enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing your equipment is in skilled and experienced hands, with services from our machine movers and erectors in Middletown, PA. Established in 1967, Hill Storage and Rigging Company is a family-owned and operated full-service millwright serving industries in the Mid-Atlantic states and beyond. We are a woman-owned small business. Hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Available Saturdays and Sundays by appointment only. You can give them a call at 717-944-7676. That number again, 717-944-7676. Hill Storage and Rigging Company, no job too large or too small. Find them at hillrigging.com. And thank you again to Hill Storage and Rigging Company for being the sponsor of Shakespeare's Coffee Break. If you, watching this, would also like to become a sponsor of the show, simply send me an email, shakespeare@shakespeareapproves.com. My email again is shakespeare@shakespeareapproves.com. I like money. I'll read your copy. I'll do it. I will wear your stuff. I will do it. This really nice thing from the Chrononauts. See Chrononauts? That was effectively a free ad right there. I'm drinking coffee from Mocha Origins. Mocha, That's basically a free ad right there. See? I'm not going to do this all the time, though. I probably will, but send me money. All stuff. I like it. I'm being very greedy right now. I can admit that about myself. All right, anyway. Enough about me. Let's talk about me. Now, friends, please welcome to the show once again, from the Zenith Players, Mr. TJ Reissner. Oh my God. I need to have like trumpets and everything queued up when I bring in a guest. There we go. So, what made you want to stop doing Shakespeare online? Because in addition to Holmes and whatnot, you are doing online productions of Shakespeare plays such as this coming Saturday, King Henry V. Online readings. So what made you want to do that?
Well, we decided, Claire had this brilliant idea to kind of keep ourselves out there, keep ourselves present. We had to, we were in the middle of rehearsing a production of Twelfth Night in Antarctica when the everything that's going on started going on. And we had to postpone it right now, probably until September.
At the earliest, I would say.
At the earliest. We'll see what, everything is uncertain right now, so we'll see what the future brings. But we decided, you know what, we're not just going to shut down. Let's go online. Let's do some readings in Zoom. I know how to use Zoom, so let's give it a go. And then I learned that you could live stream directly from Zoom. So we said, let's do it. Let's keep ourselves out there with an audience and not just a bunch of actors in a room. And we started with Much Ado because that's a fun one. We decided to stick to comedies to start with. And we've been going, this is going to be week 11.
Holy smoke.
Henry V.
Because you all started this right after coronavirus became massive here in the United States.
Yeah,
so
March something?
March, goodness. March 15th is when a lot of everybody really started lockdowns. And I want to say you, I think you did it it was a weeknight. That it happened. No. What, or was it a Saturday?
No, the first one was definitely a weeknight. I'm gonna pull up the date.
I want to say it was a Wednesday.
It was. That's not it.
the parts of the conversation that don't really matter, but we're bringing them to you live anyway.
Wednesday, March 18th.
All right, so 3 days after lockdowns began, we did that one, and I was a member of that first cast. I was reading all the stage directions, but also I was the friar.
Friar Francis.
So that was nice. Friar. The Reverend Reddy, as we credited the friar back in 2002, I want to say. The very first Shakespeare production I was in was Much Ado About Nothing. Yes.
Were you the friar?
No. See, we had a woman as the friar, and we did it full modern dress. And so instead of Friar Francis, it was the Reverend Reddy, because Signor, yes, the alliterative factor, but also because Signor Leonato does have a line saying, "Here's the Reverend Reddy."
Huh.
And so instead of saying the Reverend is ready, here's the Reverend Reddy.
Very interesting.
Yes. And I was Dogberry for that first production at the tender age of 21 years old. So
you did your first Shakespeare at 21.
Yes, I did. Other than readings in class and whatnot, my first Shakespeare production I was in was with the Oyster Mill Playhouse in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. And it was Much Ado About Nothing, and I was Dogberry. And we did it as I was a Southern sheriff. And I, for reasons fully surpassing understanding, elected to do it as Barney Fife, Southern sheriff. And so it went from ridiculous to slightly more ridiculous to let's just go full ridiculous. All right.
Of course.
We turned it up to 11.
Like that.
Genuinely. Yes. So I have to say, though, these Zenith Player readings, especially of your Shakespeare's, you are doing, I believe the phrase is the Lord's work with that, because you're bringing actors not just from around the Northeast, although I would say most of them are New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, but also around the freaking world, because you have actors in other parts of the country, full, not even adjoining states, adjacent, but in Texas and I believe California has made an appearance. But then also Denmark and Great Britain and Australia have all appeared, not just in one, but in several productions.
Yes.
So how do you attract these players from around the globe?
So the actress from Denmark actually worked with us before here. She did live in the United States for a long time. Went home to Denmark just before it got really bad with coronavirus. So we were lucky enough to know her beforehand. The performers from Australia, one of them knew somebody who now lives in the States and had worked with them, so that's how she got involved. I have no idea where our other Australian found out about us. I don't know what we did right to publicize it all the way to Australia, but he found us and has been working with us.
And that's Russell.
That's Russell, yes.
And he was spectacular as that Thane of Glamis and Cardor.
Yes.
He brought extra drama and pathos to that. Like at one point, he got himself to break out effectively into a cold sweat. And I've seen people make themselves cry.
Right.
I can do that. Anyone can do that. But to make oneself break out into flop sweat, that is something. And maybe his air conditioner was on the fritz. I don't know. But he was genuinely phenomenal. And your Lady M, that show, I think, was that Gwen?
That was that was Julie.
That was Julie.
That was our Danish.
Yeah, she was spectacular. Just the caliber of performers you're bringing in is outstanding. You have professional actors. You have people who you might call like your traditional community theater actors or your local regional theater actors. But it's always phenomenal and grand.
We always get, after every single one we do, we always get a bunch of emails, and the experience level has kind of run the gamut. We had one gentleman who emailed us and said, essentially, his experience with theater was he's seen 2 plays, and he wanted to join us, and he was great. A nice kind of burgeoning character actor, I think. So, and like you said, we've had some professional actors email us and everything in between. It's been quite amazing. We are very, very lucky.
Oh yeah, it just warms the cockles of my heart to see these casts come together. And as you say, or more often Claire says at the top of every show, most of these actors have met each other about 15 minutes ago when we opened the Zoom meeting. And that is bravo. My hat, which I am not wearing, is off to you, but I will put it on my hat so I can just complete the tropical atmosphere. I mean, for all you know, people, you can see that my sky chair behind me, where you see the pillars and the greenery. I'm in the Bahamas. I'm not in the Bahamas. But yes, you are doing amazing, phenomenal work, and have incredibly valuable resource to me as well, not just for the restreaming of my shows such as this, or my event shows such as the upcoming Midsummer Night's Dream and Gay Old Time next Wednesday, June 3rd, 7:05 p.m. But for technical know-how and just you and Claire having taken part in my shows and just sharing best practices back and forth, it very much feels ours is a microcosm of something I'm seeing around a lot at the moment, of professionals sharing best practices freely of just saying, well, I do this. What are you doing? Oh, all right. Here's what works for me. What is working for you? That doesn't sound good. Try this type of microphone, or try this technique with a microphone, or camera, or lighting, and just all of it. So it is just wonderful. And I just genuinely appreciate the work you are doing and everything you are doing, both just on the very nitty-gritty levels of, well, here's what we're doing on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis, but on a more macroscopic level, how you are helping me, and also our industry and people at large, because you are helping to provide hope. You are an anchor to normalcy in a world that has gone adrift right now. And we don't know when it's going to come back, but you're providing a certain level of, this is here every week. And we appreciate that. And Gwen Walk, one of your actors, just said here. So thank you, Gwen. Gwen's watching. All right. But since you just raised your cup to me and I will raise mine to you, what are you drinking right now, sir?
I am drinking disappointingly cold coffee.
Oh. I decided to go fancy because for the most recent holiday, I'm trying to bend over but keep my earpiece in. For this most recent holiday weekend, we decided it was not Memorial Day. I mean, well, it was Memorial Day, but for us personally, it was Maymas. We decided to celebrate Christmas in May, partly as a happiness exercise and partly because time no longer has meaning.
Right.
And my wife got me some wonderful coffee. It was ground up coarsely for French press. And so I'm having a very nice Uganda French press coffee right now. So, yeah.
I'm having
it's not cold. It's not cold. It is warm, but I had it in its container here. You're drinking Folgers?
Folgers finest cheap coffee.
Oh, well, speaking of Folgers and finest, there are two things I want to share with you. Number one, the individual coffee tea bags, the single serving coffees, but done in a tea bag style. Your coffee's brewed in 1 to 3 minutes, depending on the strength that you like it. So I highly recommend that in most, not every grocery store. And just Folgers singles. The other other two are Folgers Black Silk, which is pretty tasty, and the 1865 blend. Yeah, the one that I believe Lincoln said it was good to the last drop, and then Maxwell House went and took that line and copyrighted it, so Folgers couldn't use it.
That's amazing.
I know.
I've got to read that story.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful and ridiculous, and it's grand. Sally Eldridge says that she likes cold coffee, or at least it's always cold by the time she gets to it. I sometimes like iced coffee, but more than iced coffee, I like a cold brew. Good cold brew coffee, like the nitro cold brew that they have at Starbucks.
Oh, I'm not a big fan of the cold coffee. To me, that just means it's old, personally. But you know, I appreciate that others have different strokes for different folks, I believe.
Indeed. Now, we're getting some wonderful comments on here, and they're all over the place. So I can't bring this one up on screen, but a friend and fan of the show, Susan Hill, is saying she knows that, and I'm going to make your screen big so people can see it a little bit better. She says, let me find it again. Where'd it go? There we go. I know the number 1,000. I'm sorry. 11. I'm sorry. I know the number 11,990 above the medals is probably related to the medals, but in her head, it has now been 11,990 days since the last Zenith Players workplace accident.
Yeah, absolutely. That is true.
Yes. So, Susan, you're not wrong.
not wrong on either count.
No.
The medals, and it has been a very long time since the last workplace accident.
Yeah, she goes, that equals 32.84 years, and that is a great safety record. She even did the math for us. Thank you, Susan. Hashtag don't make us math. Thank you. All right. But any final words of wisdom to impart to our viewers this day?
My words of wisdom. Stay safe, wear a mask, try not to cough on anyone. And stay positive. If what we are doing is helping out in any way, watch us read some Shakespeare, watch Shakespeare read some Shakespeare, or rewrite some Shakespeare.
I rewrite it. It's a work in progress constantly.
But you wrote it to begin with, so it's
indeed. So it's fine. It's mine. It's mine. Bugger off.
And find the little things that make you happy and stick with them.
Well spake, sir. Zenith Players, 2 shows coming up this Saturday. King Henry V online reading. It's going to be 7:00 over on their Facebook page. And on Monday, the penultimate chapter of The Hound of the Baskervilles. I'm actually going to be in this one as Jack Stapleton. And they're releasing that as a serial drama, nearly as a radio drama. And that's one of the amazing things about podcasting and online performance now. And I saw yesterday a meme said, wow, Skype, you blew it with only a 17-year lead.
Yeah.
Because everyone does Zoom for the most part now. So way to go, Skype. You were always there. All right.
Skype.
Oh, I mean, they're okay. They're okay. But it's amazing. Zoom on that. Zoom went from, if I remember, in February, about 100,000 users to, by the end of March, 10 million users. Yeah. It's like, good job, Zoom. All right.
For sure. And knowing a little bit of the background of like what goes on in the background in Zoom, they had planned for extra capacity, but not to that extent.
And now there's nearly 500 million Zoom users.
Yeah.
And there's updates coming out every third day. I mean, it's like, we got to fix this. We got to fix this. We got to fix this. No Zoom crashing.
I'm amazed it's been as smooth as it has.
I know. I'm
very good job.
I'm asking to be hacked at this point. I mean, not really, not really. Please don't hack me. But it's just a matter of time for how often I'm on it. But TJ Reissner and the Zenith Players, thank you for being here on Shakespeare's Coffee Break. And come back soon. We're going to talk about more stuff. And we'll nerd out and possibly use my absolute favorite hashtag, Suck at Derek Jacobi.
Yes.
Yeah, because he's wrong. Which he's brilliant, but he's wrong.
Very good actor, not so good on the Oxfordian opinion.
No. And I feel like he's just poking a bear with that one. Just like, I want to do it. Oh, what's Shakespeare over there in America going to say right now? What's he going to say? What's he going to say?
He's going to say "suck at Jacobi" is what he's going to say.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying "suck at Jacobi." Hashtag "suck at Derek Jacobi." There you go. Boom. What? Come at me, Derek Jacobi. Please, actually, that'd be fun. I'll bring you on the show, and I will, Derek Jacobi, make such a to-do over you. Also tell you you're wrong, but then give you the opportunity to tell me that you're right.
It's a very tempting offer.
And then we'll become best friends and create a sitcom. What could go wrong?
Absolutely nothing. This is
what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. See, the ideas are flowing. And this is how it works. All right. And your lovely wife, Claire, who's also the artistic director of the Zenith Players, is saying she can hear the Hound of the Baskervilles in the background.
He is contributing from downstairs.
The aptly named Sherlock. That makes me happy. That brings me joy. Well, we are going slightly longer than I wanted to go today. I wanted to have, as I was saying to TJ right before the show, I wanted to do the exercise of, can Shakespeare stay inside of half an hour? The answer today is no. But we're not too far over. But thank you very much, TJ. Please come back on the show anytime that you like. And now it's time to play some wrap-up. Make sure you, by the way, go and like the Zenith Players on Facebook, facebook.com/Zenith Players. And if you want to contribute to them, go to zenithplayers.com. Click the very attractive donation button. Thanks very much.
Attractive button.
It's a really attractive button. Oh, yeah. So, friends, that's basically Shakespeare's Coffee Break for today, May 27th. Holy smoke. It's May 27th. Next week is June. June starts on Monday. What's going on there? probably just like the standard progression of the Gregorian calendar, but you know, I don't know. Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, splurdy wordy, jammy baramy. Now, friends, if you'd like to support the show and me personally, you can go and buy me a cup of coffee. Go to coffee.com/Shakespeare. That's ko-fi.com/Shakespeare. And buy me a cup of coffee. You can also commission me to write you a sonnet while over there. I'm really loving that. It's one of the joys of my day in and day out now. At some point, I will get permission from Stephen to throw up the Baby Yoda sonnet that he commissioned from me. That one made me happy and was a joy to write. Also, you can become my Patreon of the arts by going to patreon.com/Shakespeare. Again, that's patreon.com/Shakespeare. And we're going to have a fun Patreon-only hangout soon. And we're just going to hang out in the room, ask questions, tell jokes, play stupid games, probably drink a lot of coffee. What I do. But also, things I did not do yesterday, I need to advertise upcoming shows, such as on Sundays, I am on Nat 21 Adventures, because a Nat 21 is the only thing better than a natural 20. It's a Dungeons & Dragons game with your favorite Renaissance performers, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Time every Sunday. Paolo Garbanzo is our dungeon master. Roger Awesome from the Lords of Adventure, Adamo Ignis, and Mab Just Mab join me, and I play a dwarven barbarian. I know. Coming up on next Wednesday, Midsummer Night's Dream, A Gay Old Time. It is the fourth production of my Social Distancing Players, which TJ is a member of, and it's going to be a lot of good times, a lot of good fun. Starring Claire Bohannick, the artistic director of Zenith Players, as Titania, Daniel Greenwolf as Oberon, Christina Koya from Chased Treasure as Helena, Molly Thomas from The Vixens on Guard as Hermia, and Jim Teasdale, who has worked with the Zenith Players, I believe. Also, he is an award-winning actor in New Jersey as Demetrius, Sam Eisenhuth as Lysander, and I will be playing me. You can also be in that show by going to the Indiegogo campaign, which you can find there in the show notes. $50 gets you a part in the show, if you so like. Puck was just snatched up, but fairy rolls are available. Peas Blossom, Mustard Seed, Cobweb, go forth, join the show. And also for $10, you can get a backstage pass for that show, which allows you to hang out with the actors before and after the show. And you see the actors 45 seconds before Facebook and YouTube do. So that'll be next Wednesday night, 7:05. Go to the Indiegogo campaign. Help pay the actors' salaries. Help keep live theatre alive. And then, of course, this Saturday, I am in Henry V with the Zenith Players at facebook.com/Zenith Players. And on Monday, I'll be in The Hound of the Baskervilles as Jack Stapleton. So it's going to be an awfully good time. Great fun. Great things happening here in Shakespeare World. Tomorrow, by the way, instead of Shakespeare's Coffee Break, of course, we are doing Talking Trek. Brian Harvard, producer and co-owner of the Connecticut Renaissance Fair, and I, in my alter ego, guys, we are talking some Star Trek, and that is always a fun time. And then on Friday at 5:30, Shakespeare Shameless Self-Promotion Happy Hour. And Chased Treasure is going to be joining us for that one. So, friends, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you to the Jackdaws for providing the theme song, which was at the top of the show. And if I can bring it back, yes, I can. So let us go out with some wonderful music from the Jackdaws. It's called Shakespeare Approves of this theme song because I'm incredibly creative with titles sometimes. Until tomorrow and Friday, I love you. You love me. There's mutual glorious affection. Thanks again to TJ over there from the Zenith Players. This has been Shakespeare's Shameless Self-Promotion Happy Hour. Or rather, Shakespeare's Coffee Break. I don't even know what show I'm doing anymore. I love you. You love me. There's mutual glorious affection. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.